Hi, welcome to the latest video from me, Mark Carp of the Northwest Carp and Angler's Diary fishing blog. Today I'm looking at pigeon conditioner, and coming up I've got 3 good tips for using pigeon conditioner. But first I'm going to answer the question, why pigeon conditioner? Well, in order to understand why pigeon conditioner is such a good carp catcher, we've got to go back to the 1970s. Now back then there was a particle fishing revolution and hemp pretty much won the day. That was the first real big blockbuster particle. Once hemp started to lose its effectiveness, and it does lose its effectiveness eventually, the fish won't stand for big beds of hemp all the time. Once they get caught a few times, they go off them like they go off anything else. They do learn. People started looking at other particles to use, and back then people were experimenting with all kinds of things. They were using baits like rolled oats or groats, red daddy seed, white daddy seed, wheat, barley, pulses like mung beans, pinto beans, black-eyed beans, all kinds of things. And pigeon conditioner is a mixture of all these kind of things. If you look on the label and see what's in it, you'll find wheat, red daddy seed, white daddy seed, rolled oats or groats, and sometimes a bean like a mung bean or a pinto. It's a mix of particles that are really good for catching carp. It's meant as a pigeon conditioner for feeding birds, but for carp fishing it's absolutely ideal, and it's so good it can run hemp a pretty close second, and it's well worth using. So let's crack on with those 3 tips, and we'll go to tip number 1. And in order to get tip number 1, we've got to go home to my place. So here's tip number 1. Okay, so you've just seen me on the bank extolling the virtues of pigeon conditioner and saying how good it is. So it's time for tip number 1, how to prepare it. And the best way to prepare it is with a cool box. One of these. This is a Coleman 10 litre. It's only a small one. You can use a bigger one if you need a big bucket of pigeon conditioner. If you're spodding or anything like that, you can use a bigger cool box and you can get a lot more in. As far as preparing particles goes, pigeon conditioner is one of the very easiest to do. I simply put my pigeon conditioner in the bucket and then pour boiling water over it and close the lid and leave it overnight, and that's it, it's done. You know, if it's not labour intensive, if you're a busy family man or you're short on time or anything like that, it's the perfect particle mix for you. So that's tip number 1. Prepare it with a cool box, and I'm going to go down to the kitchen and pour some boiling water on this, and you can come with me. Okay, so here we are back in my kitchen again. It's not the first time we've been here for the fishing video, is it? Now I've got my cool box and the kettle's on. You can probably hear it just coming up to the boil. In the cool box is the pigeon conditioner. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it's in there ready to go. There's about a pound of pigeon conditioner in there just for the day session on a Saturday. But apart from handballing it into the cool box and pouring the boiling water on it, there's nothing else to do. So I'll get the boiling water on these, and then we'll go back on the bank again, and I've got a few more tips for using pigeon conditioner. So make sure you stay tuned. Okay, so here comes the boiling water. There we go. Now I'm going to pop that kettle on again and put some more in. And what I like is 2 or 3 times as much water as it is pigeon conditioner. So I'll close the lid, I'll top it up again, and then we're just going to leave it and let it cool down, and in the morning it's ready. That's it. Okay, so let's get that kettle on again. There we go. Okay, so that's it for pigeon conditioner. As you can see, that was ridiculously easy. All I've done is put 2 kettlefuls of water on it and I close the lid, and that'll do until the morning. One other tip I would give is don't keep opening the lid because you'll let the heat out. Apart from that, that's it. That's pigeon conditioner done. Now I've got a couple more tips about pigeon conditioner, so we'll go back to the bank and we'll look at the next tip, tip number 2. Okay, so stay tuned and let's crack on with tip number 2. Okay, so tip number 2, layer your bait. By layering I mean add in different sizes of baits on top of the pigeon conditioner. So the eagle-eyed amongst you would have seen a pan on the stove when I was preparing mine. That had maple peas in it, and I was putting maple peas into my pigeon conditioner and fishing maples on the hook. You can add in a couple of different size baits. I put maple peas in mine. You can add sweet corn, maize, tiger nuts, chickpeas, or if you want to put in chopped boilies, chopped and whole boilies, trout pellets, a couple of different size trout pellets. Build your mix of different sizes of baits, different layers of baits as you go up. You don't want them preoccupied on just the pigeon conditioner rooting out the seeds. You want them eating bigger items of food as well, and that's where you'll trip them up. And by putting a couple of different size baits in there with it, you give yourself options on the hook bait as well. So pigeon conditioner is the base layer for your spod mix, if you like, and you just add in on top of that, layer in different baits. That's what I mean by layering. So layer your bait, add in a couple of others and create a nice spod mix with it. Okay, that's tip number 2. Coming next, stay tuned for this one. Tip number 3 is rather an important one. So here we go. It's been a tough old day today. The sun's just on its way down. Eventually I've winkled one out, fishing over the pigeon conditioner with the maple peas. So that's a decent fish. It's just over 16 pound, which is a good fish for the water. Happy days. Right, let's move on to tip number 3. I know you're all dying to know what it is. So stay tuned and we'll get tip number 3 on next. Okay, so we're back home for tip number 3 for pigeon conditioner, and that involves the price, how much you pay for it and where you get it from. I'm back at home looking at Google, and a quick Google for pigeon conditioner has revealed a few places you can get it from. An obvious one is Pets at Home on the high street. You can get it from them, no problem. It costs about 18 and 19 pound a sack from Pets at Home. There are a few other places you can get it from as well. Marriages of Chelmsford, the seed merchants, Buckton's, the seed merchants. Any local feed or livery place will sell it. Again, expect around £18, maybe slightly less. I've seen a couple for £16.99 here. If you're a user of pigeon conditioner yourself, post in the comments below please. Let us know where you got it from and how much you paid for it, and let's see if we can do everybody a favour and get it as cheap as we can. Okay, so pigeon conditioner, why you use it? It's a great alternative to hemp. You know, it's a seed mix. Those seeds, they keep the fish in the swim grubbing around just like hemp does, only it costs less than half the price. At the moment, as I'm speaking, hemp's about 40 to 45 pound a sack. There's a couple of places, carp merchants like CC Moores and Hafes, check their prices, they're around 45 pound. For the seeds merchants like Buckton's and Marriages, you may get it for 35, a little bit less, minus the carp tax if you like. But it's still expensive. You know, even at £35 a sack, it's double what pigeon conditioner costs. And pigeon conditioner, believe me, it runs hemp a pretty close second. It's an absolutely marvellous bait, and it's so much easier to prepare as well. You know, you've seen me doing it there in the cool box. Just tip boiling water on it, close the lid and walked away from it. You know, the next morning when I tipped the pigeon conditioner into my bucket, it was still had a bit of warmth in that water, so it cooked really well, like it was okay. And that's the way we do it. You know, it's simple, it's easy, and it's ideal if you're a family man. I've said this before earlier in the video. you know, you're short on time or anything like that, you can throw it in a bucket in the cool box, sorry, and pour boiling water on it, and you're laughing. So that's why you should use pigeon conditioner. You know, it's as good, almost as good as hemp. It's easy to prepare, and it's half the price, so it'll leave you with a much fatter wallet. Now, you've seen me talk about layering the baits. There's a video here on maple peas just coming up, and another one here on a video that YouTube thinks you might be interested in that I've made. Check them both out, and I'll see you in another video soon. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, tap the bell icon. Tight lines, and take care of yourself.